Hello and welcome back to another episode. It is Sunday again. I had to check this morning, I have to admit. And we're back. Not a whole lot to show you this week. Mostly just progress on things I've been working on. I should start out by saying that my lovely disguise here, that is making me almost blend into the sofa again, is the Megan Nilsson Sotley with the little Peter Pan collar, which has a button in the back so you can actually get into it, and with the elasticated sleeves. More on what I'm wearing later. Bit of foreshadowing there. What I've been working on knit-wise is all things you've seen before. And I say all, two things. The two things you've seen before. You will be seeing new things next week, but I am still suffering a bit from, oh dear, what am I going to cast on next? And I do have a queue, or a queue that I put up on Ravelry. I'm not very good at using it. Mostly, I'm not very good at actually knitting from it. Now, I am thinking that I should probably look through there, because I think I have, I was about to say fabric, I think I have yarn for most of the things there. But what I've been working on uses this lovely gull, or geul, whatever you want to call it, New Zealand lamb's wool, dyed with heather, and it is still my Tsunago. I am a testing fail on this, which was brought on partially by how hot our summer was, because I didn't want to touch anything that was pure wool or a rustic wool like this, which is quite sticky. As you can tell, this little whale is where I was last week, so I made quite a bit of progress, and I did measure to make sure that I know how far I need to knit, and from this marker down here I need to knit 45 rounds. I have knit 20 rounds. A little more since the whale is a little bit lower. And yeah, as I said, I am a testing fail. If you like this pattern, you will be able to see it later this month. It is released here in October, and there is both a female version, which is this Tsunago, and a male version, which I don't remember the name of. I can't tell you what the difference is. I simply don't know. Might just be a size thing, because there's no shaping in the body at all of this. And to be honest, I didn't look into it. One thing about rustic wool is that if you lose your stitches, you can just put them, don't capture the yarn you're working on. There we go, all caught up. So yeah, that's, rustic wool will never slip. I'm still not sure about the size. I won't be until I am done with it and it's washed and everything, but I am thinking, if it doesn't work out the size I want, I can always just make it into a cardigan, because it is rustic wool. Both this and the contrasting, which is a superwash old ancient thing from my stash. Yeah, we'll see. it is getting closer to the end. Hooray for that. Because knitting thin wool on 3.5mm needles is never that much fun. And this is my second skein. I did contemplate knitting the sleeves before finishing the body. Not because I'm worried about running out of yarn, just because it wouldn't make it easier to try on. These are on way longer stitch holders than I need. The thing that makes it impossible to try on is this cable, which isn't long enough. So yeah, I don't know, just a random thought I had at some point while I was trying to work out how much further I had to knit. So there you have it. The first thing I've been working on. The second thing I've been working on, I will guarantee that you will see finished next week, because while I was watching Captain America last night, I finished the body of my Penny. Penny is by Tin Can Knits. You can knit it in a cropped version like this, or you can knit it in a full length version. The pattern has full length sleeves, I do not. Actually it works out that I think, yeah, the body and the sleeves are the same length. All I need to do is pick up the neckline and do like 6 rounds of ribbing. And it looks tiny, I know, but I have actually put it on after finishing it, and as it is lace all over, and we know lace does this, it actually fits me, and it is cropped. I don't know if it's cropped at a good length. I think it's cropped at a good length for wearing with dresses, or maybe over a skirt, I don't know. I have to figure that out. Maybe with a longer thing underneath, and then, you know, like a layering piece, instead of cutting me off while wearing a skirt. But yeah, this was also knit on 3.5mm needles, but lace is fun, and it is knit bottom up, so it did get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I like it that way. I don't know why I needed to whisper that, but there you go. Really love the way the lace is centered on the back and the front. It's a really nice thought out pattern. Was worried about running out of yarn, because this size calls for 1,000 and a bit meters, and I have this yarn, which is Dandelion Yarns Rosy Wool Sport in the Autumn Boot colorway. I still see it as a squirrel. I mean, this is a nice red squirrel, which it is a bit autumnal. I bought 3 skeins of this for this purpose, which is 960 meters total. I knew I was going to shorten the sleeves, so I was hoping that the around 100 meters that I didn't have would end up being what the sleeves were missing. And I kept knitting and kept knitting. I was like, oh god, this isn't going to work. I have 2 sizable remnants. One from the sleeves, because I used 1 skein for the sleeves. I used 2 skeins for the body. And I do have a sizable left over, so I have no worries about running out of yarn now. But it was touch and go for a moment to such an extent that I was actually contemplating ordering an extra skein of yarn coming from Sweden. I could have done. I didn't. I was like, okay, I have this piece or leftover from the sleeves, so I can, maybe that's enough for the neck, and it won't be a problem at all. So, but yeah, all the ends, including this one, has been woven in, and really it's just the neckline left over, but I didn't feel like actually doing that. But I'll do it, maybe not today, but definitely this week, and have it washed for you and be able to show you next week. As I said, these are all the knitting I've been doing, which is still fairly substantial because were the sleeves even on last week? Or was I halfway? I might have just been halfway to, I think it was actually only halfway through the body under the sleeves. So that is a whole lot of knitting. Yeah, I forgot to put in a progress marker last time. But this time, we'll need a neckline. We all need a neckline. So, you'll see this next time finished, promise. Even if I have to stay up all Saturday evening to do it. Now, sewing. I did some sewing. I showed you my Pietra closet core pants last week. Still feels weird calling them pants, but I think the pattern is called Pietra pants. That smooth, velvety, want to touch myself thing. Side note, if you have long wide legs and you are wearing flip-flops, walking up a stair, just pull your trouser legs up a bit so your big toe doesn't get caught in the opposite leg, making you trip. I was heading up, I had no problems going down. I was heading up, and I did think for a second I should probably pull my legs up, and I was about to do that when my big toe got caught. Luckily, I'm not very tall, and the only thing I had in my hands were my keys, so I just threw them onto the next step, or the step ahead of me, and just managed to put out my hands on the step. So actually I looked like I was attempting to do push-ups on on a staircase or some steps. Nothing happened, I'm fine. Just something to be aware of. I have had no such issues wearing shoes. Flip-flops apparently are bad for you. But after that, I did talk about making another pair out of a stretch velvet. And the Pietra pants are not supposed to be made out of stretchy material. It's supposed to be a woven material, and they do have pockets that are built into them. So I was a bit unsure about it all, but I mean, don't you want soft? It's the 218th of March in 2020. Don't you want soft things? And if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I cosplayed as Winnie the Pooh in my new Pietra pants out of a mustardy stretch velvet. And I'll just stand up. So you got the front here, which has the facing on it, and you have the pockets. And one pocket is slightly looser than the other. And I think that's down to my sewing of it. Just whoop. There we go. As you can see, it's looser over here. The pocket in itself is a little bit bigger than this side. I don't care. So you have the flat front, and if I turn around, you have the elasticated back piece, which was a pain to knit. What I'm talking about. It was a pain to sew out of the stretchy material, because you're going to want to stretch the elastic, and you also want, but you don't want to stretch the fabric, but you can't have one without the other. And yeah, I do feel a little like these are my Winnie the Pooh trousers, and to be honest, I don't care, because they are soft and I'm the softest little bear in town. If you didn't catch my Instagram story, I'll just show you me being Winnie the Pooh. Come on, focus. Why won't you focus? With the ears and everything. I'm sorry. Doesn't seem to want to focus. There we go. Yeah. Apparently I'll happily cosplay as Winnie the Pooh. I mean, I like Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, these are my third. This is view A of the closet core patterns. I did take off 9 centimeters in length. Yeah, they fit perfectly in length and everything. We're really happy about them, and they are just going to be perfect for this fall weather. I mean, not least because I'm going to be able to camouflage myself. Well, my hedges are still pretty green, but you know, as soon as they turn, I'll be able to camouflage myself completely in them. They're just soft and nice and teddy bearish. But that did clear up my table for a new project, and unlike my knitting, I actually have a queue for my sewing, and well, not a complete queue, but a couple of projects ahead. And the fact what I'm making is actually 2 things I'll be making, but from the same pattern. And the pattern is this. It's the Patty Floor by D&Do Patterns. Now, D&Do, a French company, their patterns come in not very size inclusive sizes. Certainly not the paper patterns. The PDFs do go up to what they have defined as a size Euro 52, but I would argue that it's Italian sizing. So that means that a 52 is probably more like a 48 maybe? I don't know. The passiflor is a double-breasted shirt, coat, dress, maxi dress, and the knee-length dress and the coat are basically the same. Or what they're saying is you can use all of them in a heavier material or something and use it as a coat, or you can use it as a shirt, dress, maxi dress. Now, I have some fabric and I showed it to you a month ago or some, maybe more. Don't have it right here. Which is a more jean-like or denim-like fabric, which is very fall-ish. And so I thought, okay, that's great. And I saw the passiflor and I was like, this is what it needs to be. But I have made one dildo pattern before, which went excellent. It was excellent. I wasn't precious about the fabric, so I didn't do a tester first, but that worked out perfectly. So really, I don't know why I'm making a tester first, but I am, and it's not really a tester, it's more that I am using this fabric, which I think I got around Christmas down at Stoffmüller, near where I grew up. And I am making the shirt version out of this, mainly because I don't have enough for anything else. Now, because all of the pieces or all of the versions can be made as what they are or as a coat, all of the seams except for the side seam, and I'm guessing the hem, no, the side seams and the sleeve seams, I think maybe, are covered. So the front pieces, you don't actually only do 2, you do 4. And you can have short sleeves or long, slightly, not billowy, but slightly larger sleeves. With proper cuffs and everything. And I think, even though I'm not a long sleeve person, but in a shirt or shirt dress, I kind of like having the option to go long sleeve and just roll it up. So that's what I decided to do with this, and I'm going to do with the final piece as well. And that meant that, well, if I cut it on the cross grain, probably could have made the facing pieces out of this fabric as well for the two fronts. But I'm using a remnant from my Sienna dress. Still cutting a cross grain, but without having to squeeze the fabric as much. And I am going to, actually I should probably check first if I can do it cross grain on the actual fabric. I'm going to check that because that's the only piece I'm missing. That's the 2 facing pieces. And it'll just be, instead of looking like this, it'll just be like this on the inside. And who really is looking at the inside of your shirt? Again, can be worn as a coat, but still. That is the only piece I have yet to cut. Also, I have yet to cut the interfacing because I think there's some interfaced pieces that are just marked with lines on the actual pattern pieces. But I'll have to look into that. So that's what's up next on my sewing machine. And that really is everything. That's a whole lot about nothing. I mean, not really, but yeah. So it's goodbye from me, the green Winnie the Pooh today, and I'll see you next time with a finished object. And something new on the needles. Anyway, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.